All right, sorry about that. I'm gonna do it again, and I'm not gonna hit my mute button. See, that's why I asked, because technology, gotta love it. All right, here we go.
Explains why some organizations and some leaders are able to inspire where others aren't. Let me define the terms really quickly. Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. It's always a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care? Well, as a result, the way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. It's obvious. We go from the clearest thing to the fuzziest thing. But the inspired leaders and the inspired organizations, regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Let me give you an example. I use Apple because they're easy to understand and everybody gets it. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Meh. And that's how most of us communicate. That's how most marketing is done, that's how most sales is done, and that's how most of us communicate interpersonally. We say what we do, we say how we're different or how we're better, and we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a vote, something like that. Here's our new law firm. We have the best lawyers with the biggest clients. We have, we always perform for our clients, do business with us. Here's our new car. It gets great gas mileage. It has, leather seats. Buy our car. But it's uninspiring. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? You're ready to buy a computer from me. All I did was reverse the order of the information. What it proves to us is that people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. This explains why every single person in this room is perfectly comfortable buying a computer from Apple. But we're also perfectly comfortable buying an MP3 player from Apple, or a phone from Apple, or a DVR from Apple. But as I said before, Apple's just a computer company. There's nothing that distinguishes them structurally from any of their competitors. Their competitors are all equally qualified to make all of these products. In fact, they tried. A few years ago, Gateway came out with flat screen TVs. They're eminently qualified to make flat screen TVs. They've been making flat screen monitors for years. Nobody bought one. And Dell came out with MP3 players and PDAs. And they make great quality products, and they can make perfectly well-designed products, and nobody bought one. In fact, talking about it now, we can't even imagine buying an MP3 player from Dell. Why would you buy an MP3 player from a computer company? But we do it every day. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. When we communicate from the outside in, yes, people can understand vast amounts of complicated information like features and benefits and facts and figures. It just doesn't drive behavior. When we communicate from the inside out, we're talking directly to the part of the brain that controls behavior, and then we allow people to rationalize it with the tangible things we say and do. This is where gut decisions come from. Sometimes you can give somebody all the facts and your figures, and they say, I know what all the facts and details say, but it just doesn't feel right. Why would we use that verb? It doesn't feel right, because the part of the brain that controls decision-making doesn't control language. And the best we can muster up is, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Or sometimes you say you're leading with your heart, or you're leading with your soul. Well, I hate to break it to you, those aren't other body parts controlling your behavior. It's all happening here in your limbic brain, the part of the brain that controls decision-making and not language. But if you don't know why you do what you do, and people respond to why you do what you do, then how will you ever get people to vote for you or buy something from you, or more importantly, be loyal?
All right. All right, so that was a short snippet of, let me make sure I pause this. I don't want another video to pop up. Okay, let me go back. Oh Lord, it's still going. Okay, so that was a short snippet of the video of the golden circle. So with that being said, before I even say anything from my piece, what did you gather from that video? Tell me your thoughts. I'll wait.
So I got from it this L1. I pretty much got from it that you know, even with the same, even being the same, it's all about the presentation pretty much. So if you present it the wrong way, you get the wrong message, rather than, from, like you said, from the inside out,
So
rather
if
than
you
out.
present what the wrong way?
Like if you, I mean, I think this can go pretty much with everything, like pretty much yourself. I mean, you present, so I mean, speaking of yourself, you present yourself the wrong way, you get the wrong result, even though you might have you might have did everything correct, but it was the presentation that was wrong.
So, okay, so on that note, if you did everything correct, whatever correct means, if you did everything correct, but you got the wrong result, could that mean that maybe you weren't being genuine in what you were doing?
I mean, you can look at it like that, but
Because give me an example. Give me an example of doing something correct, but getting the wrong result. Give me your example.
like, so let's say, as far as like you're putting something together, let's say a package or something, and you put it all the way, you have everything that you need and everything that's supposed to be in there, but it's in the wrong order. It's not, you know, how it's supposed to be. So
Okay, you're talking about a process. You're talking about packages and a process. Okay, so
well, I mean,
I want to keep this more towards leadership, because what you're talking about is management. Because you're talking about a process, and we manage processes, but we lead people.
mm-hmm.
So let's talk about leadership in this aspect. Think bigger. Think bigger picture. Think leadership right now. How does what he talked about tie into leadership?
So I mean, like, so if you're communicating more of, oh, say you're telling people what to do, so it's more about the way you say things rather than just pretty much getting through to people as far as the presentation to them. They might understand it better if you said it this way rather than another way. I mean,
Okay.
that's how.
Okay. Who else? Talk to me.
I think one of the
I
things
got a
about it,
question.
people usually, whether you're selling something, conversing with people, whatever the case may be, I think one of the biggest things is that people buy and feed off of emotion. Whether you're talking to somebody and like just like you said earlier, being genuine with somebody, people recognize authenticity from a mile away. Uh, and that's whether sales, leading people is one of the main ways that people can tell whether you're genuine or not is by looking somebody in their eyes and your body language and stuff. All of that leads into whether you're genuine or not.
Okay. Who else? Two people were speaking up. Let's hear it. Don't be scared now. Let's get it.
Chief, I was essentially going to say the same thing. Pretty much, it doesn't matter how great your product is. If you can't make someone feel the emotion behind why they need it or why they need to buy into what you're doing and support you, they're not going to do it. Doesn't matter. So that's essentially what I got out of that.
All right. I love it. I love it. So have y'all ever, let me throw a question out here. Have y'all ever went to go buy something, whether it was a car or a TV, any kind of electronic or whatever case might be? Have you ever went to go buy something and you liked the features on it? You might have liked some of the things that it does, but then when you went to go meet the person to buy it, something just didn't feel right. Has that ever happened to any of you? or like a house. If you ever try to buy a house, right? You said that house looks beautiful, and then you talk to the realtor, and something doesn't feel right. Have y'all ever had that happen?
Absolutely. Well, you don't buy off of emotion. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So here's where I would like to tie. So I'm going to give you guys a quick story from me, and let's see if you guys can relate to this. So coming up through the ranks, right? You make petty officer third class, right? And as you're going from E1 to E4, and I use me for example, I can remember studying for the advancement exam, right? I can remember trying to get this award and that award because it helps with award points, right? I can remember trying to get my degree because it helps with education points, right? Which all leads towards that final multiple score. And I can remember doing things so I can get to that score, right? And then I would make E4. And then next thing I know, I'm trying to go for E5, right? Because I made E4, now I want to make E5. So then I'm doing all these things to make E5, redoing it again, doing everything for the eval so I could try to get these, the EP, right? So it could set me up to make E5. But then there was something that happened in my career. I got sent to HMA school and I started teaching students. And I started noticing when I got there and I started teaching students that this was me 10 years ago. I was sitting in the same classroom learning about becoming an HM. Didn't know what I was getting into. I got kids in this class that are 18 years old up to maybe 25. And I have to instill in them how to take care of sailors out in the fleet when they get injured. As well as I have to talk to them about life. Because while they're in A school, they're still going to have financial issues. They're still going to have family issues. They're still going to have whatever other personal issues that come in life. And guess what? I've been through some of those issues. So then I started to realize, man, I'm here as an HM1. I'm not even trying to do things to make chief. At this point, I just want to give back to these kids. I call them kids. I want to give back to these kids. And every time that they would learn something or something would happen to them, a light bulb came on in their head. And especially at graduation day, it made me so happy to see them walk across the stage with that caduce on their arm and to know that they're going out to the fleet and to know that my legacy will live on through them. And then it just so happened that I made chief. And ever since then, and then you throw in the chief season with that, ever since then, it has never been about what I did or how I did. And I never even knew about this until a month ago. I started reading his book. Everything was driven behind a purpose about what I did. Everything was driven behind a why. It didn't matter what I did, because now I come to recruiting and I'm transparent with anybody. I don't like what we do here. I don't even like how we do it sometimes. Anybody that knows me know MEPS gets on my nerves. The complete process about how sometimes we do what we do and how we do it. But the reason why I love being here is because every doctor and nurse and any other healthcare professional that I put in, I know that they're going to go out and save somebody's life someday, whether it be physical or mental. And so therefore, my legacy still lives on. It's the same why that I saw happen come from A school. So what I want to do now is open up the floor to you guys. Somebody tell me, why do you think knowing your why is important as a first class petty officer and or a leader here?
Say that question again, Chief.
Why is it important to know your why as a first class petty officer and or a leader here?
How you doing, Chief? It's FCG1 Parking.
I can barely hear you. Speak up a little bit.
I said FCG1 Park. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you a little bit. Go ahead.
Okay, so I need to know my why is important for me so that I can keep going. Because some days I get up and the only thing that keeps me going is to know the why. And the why for me is my family and all that good stuff. So you need to know the why. And I think, when we put people in the Navy, we have them fill out a why Navy statement. That way, if they go down on deck and they don't want to join no more, we give them that statement. So if you use that, the same mindset, as a leader, that'll help you out.
Okay, I love it. Somebody else.
I just believe it helps you keep focused as far as not losing track of you know the reason maybe why you came out here or why you're still in the Navy pretty much. As long as your why, you can just always keep pushing and when stuff get hard, you can always focus on why you're still doing it.
Absolutely. Now y'all talking to me. That's what that's what this is about. Because let's talk for a second. And we're just talking here at recruiting. Would y'all agree and say that this is a stressful job? Yes or no?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is a stressful job. We can all agree this is a stressful job. Let me ask you this. $450 a month that you get as a recruiter or your sailors get as a recruiter, will that take away the stress of this job?
No.
Nope.
No.
No, it won't.
Okay, so we got the $450. Also, you guys, the production guidance comes out. You guys get NAMs for putting in nukes or whatever the case might be. End of year awards, you get NAMs and comms, whatever the case might be. Does that take away the stress of the job?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Okay. And then I got one last question for you. If you get mapped to first class for your second classes that are out there, or for the first classes that are here, if you get promoted to chief, does that take away the stress of the job?
If anything, it add more stress to it.
Hell no.
All right, so we're getting somewhere here. All right, we about to go to church. Let's go to church for a second. So we have understood that the stress does not go away. It doesn't happen. All right, in the business that we're in, and this is not just for recruiting, by the way. I'm just using this because that's where we are. But the stress does not go away. All right, there is a mountain, right? I want you guys to picture a mountain. We're at the bottom of the mountain. And in order to get to the top of the mountain, which we call the summit, that is your goal. Whatever that goal is, all of you all have different goals, and all of your sailors have different goals and achievements and things that will fulfill them. But what we sometimes lose focus of is the mountain. We're so focused on that summit and that goal that's at the top that we forget that there's a mountain that we have to climb. And granted, some people climb that mountain fast, or some people take a helicopter. Some people climb that mountain slow, but there still is a mountain. And there are still going to be stressors that you're going to face on that mountain. But what is the one thing that can help you up that mountain and help you deal with these stressors? What is it?
Knowing your purpose.
Talk to me. Somebody out in the crowd, talk to me. Knowing your purpose. All right. So this is not about you, first classes. I want you to listen. I want you to hear me closely right now. This whole training is not about you. This whole training is about us. It's about the team. When you went from E4 to E5 to E6, what leadership training did you have?
NDOC.
You had what?
NDOC. Leadership, like NDOC training.
Okay, how long was that?
Couple days.
Okay. And what did you get out of that?
Pretty much your expectations of coming into your new rank and your role.
Did you become a leader out of that?
No, I feel that I was a leader before that.
Okay. I love the honest answers. Okay. So when we look at the petty officer third class and the petty officer second class, you are the subject matter expert, you are the work center supervisor, you are the manager, right? You know the processes ins and out. When you switch over from E5 to E6, you are preparing yourself for chief at some point, and we look at you as the leader. But what is a leader? And that is an open question to anyone. What is a leader? Come on, one of y'all just said I was already a leader. So what is a leader?
Somebody that makes the people around you better.
I love it. That sounds like H&1 Mars. I could be
No,
wrong.
that was Petty Officer Brown.
Okay, Petty Officer Brown, my bad. All right, so somebody that makes everyone around you better is a leader. Okay, I love it. And in order to make everyone around you better, what do you think you should be able to, what are some characteristics that falls under being a leader?
Example and motivation.
Example. All right, so setting the example, motivation, what else?
Knowing how to take constructive criticism to make you better.
Okay, take constructive criticism, what else?
Knowing how to take someone from one point to another.
Okay, moving somebody from one point to another, what else?
Being being an expert at your job.
Being an expert at your job. Okay, so let's stop there. I like that one. So being an expert at your job, is that a leader or is that a manager or is that a technical expert?
Both. It could be a technical expert. It could be a manager. It could be a leader.
Okay, I love it. Let me rephrase the question then. Can you lead somewhere where that is not your normal territory? For example, can a LSC lead in a recruiting command?
Yes.
Absolutely. They was taught the job.
What if they were never taught the job? Can you still lead?
Absolutely.
Yes, you can.
Ah, we're getting somewhere. So this is why I'm
One of
asking.
the things that makes a good leader a great leader is that a great leader has to also know how to follow.
Oh man, hey, we talking now. We going to church now. Listen, I'm not trying to keep y'all too long. So, hey, let's go back to this manager and leader. I love this. So do understand there is a difference between managing and leading. All right. I don't know if I'm breaking up or not.
Breaking up a little bit, Chief.
Chief, your Boost mobile phone messing up. You're breaking up.
It's Chief.
So to talk about what my comment I don't know. I'm not gonna think what to do it or get that's gonna that's like the difference of leader and manager.
Some attributes that a manager wouldn't.
So they gonna start wrong with him.
Right. Work people, right? So about this, your move something you just went with then she got his phone. So you should then put it correct. Well, how would I put it in manager?
So here's what I want to get at. The management and the leaders. There's a difference between the two. And what is the inspiration? What is the inspiration that leaders are to learn from this? Learn how to, if I lead, I know that my division, department is still running. My managers are your how and your what. And nothing wrong with it. Let's get this straight. That's the reason why I was talking about behind these things. You are enforcing you are going to be the subject matter expert. You're doing that. that person was given that training is because your values and your why did not align with theirs. There was something, your sailors do the same thing with you. Hear me again. Your sailors do the same thing with you. If you're not authentic or genuine in what you do, your sailors will realize that. And so when you ask them to do something, they probably don't want to do it. Sometimes sailors just don't want to do it. That's not necessarily true, because I challenge you, ask every sailor in your department, what are the 3 things that will make their job fulfilled? What are the 3 things that will make them happy? I can tell you at least 2 that they're going to say. 1 is to feel value in their workspace. And some of y'all, this is y'all too, is to feel value in the workspace. 2 is to have empowerment, to make them feel empowered, right? Nobody wants to be micromanaged. A leader does not micromanage. A manager micromanages. Lead for results. A leader will get results. So if you're in your division and you're expecting to lead your people so you can get results, you're not leading, you're managing. Your job is to lead people because you're the ones going to get results. And as a leader, you know that sometimes you're not gonna show. That's why you're a leader. Somebody up and tell me that it's making sense to you.
I'm playing it. It's make perfect sense, Chief. A lot of sense.
And this is for impact no trainings or any reward or trophy. This is not what this is, because we have a legacy behind, and we want you to be better than what we are. So, what is your why? Why are you here? If you start because it's any you can't put things in words. That's just me asking you if you're married. Why did you fall in love with that person? You can't point why you fell in love with your wife, but you say there's some things eating on them in the time. I can tell you trust is one of the things that made fall in love with trust. But they was a leader. It's trust, right? The reason they're going at the command. They say hesitant, say how they feel about it. You say
me personally, the reason why I used to speak, because I feel like even if I did speak.
Absolutely. Somebody else. Why would sailors not speak up about a process or something that's going wrong?
Because when you do, you just get the political answer and they don't actually talk to you like you're a human being.
Okay, let me get one more. I love it. Give me one more.
Fear of reprisal or being that black sheep.
All right.
A lot of
all these answers. Go ahead.
I about to say a lot of them probably just so used to just seeing everything so messed up that they just think that's the norm and just say, oh well, to hell with it and keep it moving.
Awesome. I love these transparent answers. This is what I wanted. And here's what I say to you, leaders, future leaders. Be the leader that you wish you had. I'll say that again. Be the leader that you wish you had. Everything that you're talking about, your sailors might say the same thing about you. Might. Be the leader that you wish you had. Think about that. And it all starts with your why. It all starts from internal. Inspire them. Make them trust you. When they trust you, they will talk to you. They will tell you how they feel. And you know, that's how you move forward in any organization, is with trust and safety. So by the way, I'll say this, that circle, which I wish I could pull back up, but my computer, y'all got me with the Boost Mobile. That circle that I pulled up, the circle of safety, I mean, the golden circle, the why and the how and the what, that is also called the circle of safety. And what I mean by that is, in that circle, when you start with why, right, you're being authentic, you're being genuine. When you start with why, when you know why you get up and do what you do every single day, your how and your what displays your why. Everything that you do displays your why. Because if they don't align, then that's when you deal with someone that's not authentic. And that's when you're like, well, wait, what you're doing doesn't match what you're showing. So when you have your why and your how and your what is in alignment, it's in balance, that's when you have authenticity and you have genuity. And when you have that, That's when you build what's called the circle of safety. That's when people trust you and they feel safe around you. Think about that. For those of y'all that are parents, your children trust you because they feel safe around you, because you're genuine with your kids. Think about that. If you have a spouse, they feel safe around you because they can trust you because you're genuine with them. There's no different in your workspace. If you come to work every single day and you live out your why through what you do and how you do it, your sailors will see that through you. And they will trust you. And I read a comment one day where a sailor said, I don't care if I have to work 12 or 18 hours for this leader that I worked for. I will go to the ends of the earth for that leader because they showed that they cared. So you think about that here at the recruiting command. For the sailors that are stressed and are working long hours and are dealing with whatever it is that's going on, they don't mind doing that if they know they have someone that cares for them and that they can trust in. So my question to you, first class, is, can your sailors trust in you? Do you show that you care for your sailors? And that's a rhetorical question. That's something you got to ask yourself. Do my sailors in my department trust me? Do they know that I care about them? That's a rhetorical question. All right, so it is now 13:21. Before we get ready to close out, I would like some feedback from you all. And actually, before I even do the feedback portion, I know I got Senior Chief Thicklin and Senior Chief Scott and Chief Pond, and I want to say Senior Chief Patillo's on too. Before I do the closing remarks with the first classes, what are some things, if there's some things that you all would like to share with the first classes today?
I'll chime in. Really good training today. Appreciate y'all's feedback in training. To be not one directional or one-sided. It takes work through some thought processes to really get the most out of it that we can, and to learn and grow as individuals, as leaders. I want to say to each and every one of you in here is that we see you, okay? It's not going unnoticed what you're doing out there, how hard y'all are grinding, the work you're putting in. It's appreciated, and we see you. So thank you.
Any other chiefs got something?
Yeah, I got on a little late, unfortunately, due to the production meeting, but I did catch, the last parts of it. And I know essentially what the training was about. I just want to say, like, everything, just to piggyback off everything that each one of you said, in addition to what Chief McCauley said, like, if I can leave you with one thing, it will be the leader that you wish you had. And that absolutely can't drop the ball on that, because that's generally what happens. Once people start promoting through the ranks and they actually get in that leadership position, they forget where they came from. So this training is awesome, but make sure y'all taking it in. Make sure you're taking it in, and it starts now. If you're on this call, that means you're aspiring to be a chief. You're aspiring to be a leader, but you don't have to be a chief to be a leader. Even as a first class, you don't have to have LPO at the end of your title to be a leader. Just make sure that you're remembering the good leaders you've had, as well as the bad leaders you've had, and take all of that in, so that when you are put in that leadership position, that you hold yourself accountable, because it's definitely needed. So that's all I got.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Senior Chief Patillo. Senior Chief Thicklin or Senior Chief Scott, y'all out there, if y'all want to say anything?
No, I think you guys covered about everything that I probably would have said. Great job on the training. It was very informative and a lot of added value.
Awesome.
I have to agree with everybody. Now I'm up here at NRD, so my connection's been in and out, and I may freeze, so I do apologize. But definitely, you all continue grinding. We do see you. We see all that you're doing. So keep up the good work, and definitely go and be that leader you want to be, and continue to inspire. That's all I got.
Hey, Chiefs and
I love it. I
Steve
tell you,
Chiefs,
but
I have a question for you guys. Do
go
you
ahead.
guys call yourselves managers or leaders?
Great question. Great
Woo.
question.
Well,
I'm sorry. I want to answer that.
go ahead.
I will say this: when I my first leadership position, when I was learning how to do it, I think I was a manager. I think I started out as a manager. Once I realized that managers don't get results, I started becoming a leader. So I will say that I started out as a manager because it was new, it was fresh, it was overwhelming in the beginning, but now I consider myself a leader.
I want to chime in too. You know, I'm right there with Senior on the fact that it took experience for myself. I mean, it's easy for us to sit here on Zoom and talk about the differences between a manager and leader. But for me to realize myself where my ceiling was for leadership, and if I'm not careful, because leadership is easy when the going is good, right? Leadership, you can consider yourself a great leader when you got a great team all doing the right thing and killing it, right? When your team's crushing it, everybody looks at you and says, hey, you're a great leader. But if they're all self-motivators, that's not the test of leadership. The test of leadership is when it gets tough. The test of leadership is when it gets hard. And then when you hit that capacity, that ceiling of your leadership experience, and you are under the gun, the pressure is on for you to produce. The pressure is on for y'all to get the win. And you try to push past and push harder. It's real easy to break through that leadership experience ceiling and break into some management tactics to try to get results. And the biggest thing, the biggest test of your leadership will be when one of your sailors comes to you and says, you know what, the way you approached me the other day, it just didn't sit right with me. I felt attacked. I felt like shutting down. When they're honest with you, it means they respect you enough to be honest with you, but you're only going to keep that respect if you hear them. If you truly go, you know what, I got you. So how can I approach you better? Sometimes you just got to ask them, hey, what do you need from me to get the best results here? Because they're already wanting to do it. They're already putting in the work. So how can we communicate when things are bad so that you know something's important? And they'll tell you straight up, hey, I just need you to go, hey, NC1 or whatever. This is what's going on. We got to make this a priority, and I'll be on it. I'll fix it. So that to me is the difference for me personally. Experiencing the difference between my own leadership ability where I hit that ceiling, and I needed someone to slow me down and go, hey, this ain't quite right. You're not going to get a whole lot of results this way. And I've had it come from my team, and I've had it come from peer level as well. And to be able to actually listen to them and make adjustments is where you will be tested.
And yeah, I want to add something quick because I got to go to the front office. But I consider myself to be a mixture of both. And I have to use that to be versatile because there's been situations where I had nobody to lead and I had to manage a workload on my own. So I have to, I had to always know that, okay, yeah, there's leadership that you have to cultivate. And there's also a management that you have to cultivate because you may not always have people to lead. You might have to stand on your own. And then what do you do in a situation like that? So, you always have to start at the ground roots of where, all the training experience that you had in both areas to be more well-rounded, just in case, like I said, you may come in a situation where you have no one to lead, but you still have work that you have to manage. Like Chief McCauley said, you lead people, you manage work or equipment or resources or things like that. And sometimes you just don't have those people. So you do need to have or be versatile to be able to be successful in any environment that you're placed in. But that's just my take, and now I got to go talk to that.
No, and
I want
was.
to chime. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, because that was outstanding. Actually, seniors and Chief, outstanding on delivering exactly what a leader does and is. Now, keep in mind, as you grow into being that leader, you really won't know you're that leader versus a manager until you see the impact that you've actually contributed. That's when you know you're a leader. So yes, I do consider myself a leader. And yes, I don't. I'm sitting in one of those positions where I don't have direct people under me to supervise at this time, but it has happened in the past. But you know, when you're a leader and people call you from your other commands and your other stations, not just being that mentor, but it was the way you led them where your impact was acknowledged and said, and they come to you and tell you thank you. So it's an awesome feeling to know when you have made a difference in somebody, because we only need to make a difference in one. We won't be able to touch them all, but knowing that there's a impact and you've inspired others, that's when you know you're a leader. That's what I got.
Was that valuable answers? I'd like to hear.
Well, hold on. I want to jump in too now. Don't cut me off. Wait a minute.
Gotcha.
Don't try to cut me off. But listen, no, I do want to speak on that too, because, you know, every one of the chiefs and senior chiefs said exactly what I would have said. And the only thing that I would want to add too is, you know, leadership is never about you. It's never about you. And I say that because I'm going to look at myself when I say that. When I told you, when I was going up for E4, E5, and even up for E6, I was so focused on the tangible things and how it could get me where I wanted to get to. And I thought that I was leading because in my eval, guess what? It says you're leadership, you're a leader. But do understand, writing words in an eval versus you actually leading is two different things. And I know I'm about to hurt some feelings right now, but I'm just being transparent. I was not leading. I was not a leader, should I say. Let me put it like that. It didn't hit me until, like I said, when I was teaching A school, that I realized it was not about me. And every chief and senior chief here knows that I, as bad as this might sound, I don't care about what comes next. It's not about the pay grade. It's not about the degree that I just obtained. That wasn't even about me. That was about my father. Everything that I do now, it has nothing to do with me. So when you have reached that level, that pinnacle where you can now say everything that you do is not about you, it's about something or someone else. You have now reached you have transcended to a different level into your leadership growth, because that is the key. It is a growth, just like a child to an adult. We are all growing in our leadership. So I am a leader in that aspect because I know that everything I do now is not about me, but it took me a while to get here. I think that was Q and Duran that asked that question. I don't know if we answered your question or not.
Yes, Chiefs and Senior Chiefs, it did answer my question. I do have a couple of follow-up questions. I know we're out of time. So if I could email one of you guys my follow-up questions about that, that would be appreciated. Because, you know, for aspiring chiefs and, you know, seasoned first classes, we would like to know, like, did you start off as a manager because you tried to prove yourself, or you started off as a manager because you didn't know how questions and put them in an email?
I tell you what, hold on, before any chief say anything, because I know y'all want to get in. I tell you what, because listen to this. And then let's have time to really answer these questions instead of being rushed. Now, Chief Patilla, you can answer, but I do say let's have a part 2 so we can get more chiefs involved and get these answers flowing, because more first classes probably got questions too, and I don't want to keep you guys from work. But Chief Patilla, you can go ahead and answer, and then let's have a part 2 for
I
this
don't
too.
want to hold everybody on, but I mean, QM1, if you want to call me offline, I think I have your number. If not, I'll post it in the chat, but I don't want to hold anybody up because I definitely have an answer for that.
Different and are great for them. So like I said, I'm more about quality than quantity, and I really want to give, this is the stuff we need to talk about. So Q and Duran, just know that we love these questions, and all other first classes out there, please ask us these questions. That's what we're here for. Ask us the questions, the hard questions. Ask us the tough questions. We're here for that. All right. But let's get ready to close today. For all the first classes that are here, I hope that this Start With Why training was enlightening for you. We are going to continue these series of trainings. But I hope that this was good. Would y'all say that this was beneficial today?
Yeah, extremely beneficial, Chief.
Okay, we're gonna dive more into these topics and these trainings because it's gonna get more. It's gonna lead more into the evals and the sale of the quarters and the sale of the years and all the maps and every other thing that we talk about that's tangible. We're gonna have these trainings so we can correlate and we can try to right this ship of, you know, what's kind of been going on. We need to fix this. And I don't want to say fix it, but we need to evolve in our leadership mindset because we do have a new generation of sailors that are coming in. And we need to be there for them more so than we've probably been in the past and for ourselves. All right. So take care of yourselves out there. This is recorded, so I will post it to the page and be on the lookout for part 2 and bring more first classes. I'll bring more chiefs and we're going to continue to bridge this gap. Sounds good?
Sounds good, Chief.
Hey, Q, I posted my number in the chat. Give me a call.
Seeing Chief Patilla put a number in there. All y'all can give her a call if y'all would like.
I see you.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. Stay safe. And remember, start with why. Talk to you later. All right, I got to figure out how to